Oh boy, this Epstein story sure is getting very interesting. Yep, and magically the cameras just malfunction. Who would have thonked it? As we just had a major press conference right now with new survivors of Jeffrey Epstein that came out and spoke about some very interesting developments that we didn't know before. All of this while the White House is acting extremely strange, as even one of the lawyers of the victims came out and said, hey, Trump helped us out in 2009. Now he's calling it a hoax. As I have to say, after watching this press conference, these members of Congress did an incredible job not making it a highly partisan issue. They didn't make it a Democratic issue. They didn't make it a leftist issue. They made it an issue of saying, hey, these are our stories. We want transparency. We want accountability. We want the documents released, as the White House did, but in a very kind of interesting way, as the question still remains, what are they hiding? And as a lot of the people on stage for this press conference represented today, they are bewildered. They are confused at the actions of this government. We are going to be doing our best to try to unwind a lot of this kind of unknown speculation with what we think is going on here, as truly this is the story of the decade that many powerful people want to go away. And thank goodness there are courageous members of Congress like Rowan, MTG, and Thomas Massie that are making sure that it does not. We're going to tell you everything that happened, why it happened, and the bigger type of rabbit hole theory that we have surrounding all of this. If you appreciate these type of videos, subscribe. Click the notification button, as of course talking about them previously beforehand got us banned and censored and deleted. We still are going to be talking about them regardless of the circumstances surrounding the bigger censorship of this. Again, I was talking about this 15 years, though levels of pushback, censorship, and just absolutely insane dribble from the establishment that I faced that was furious about this is something that's a story within itself. Now, this is what Thomas Massie had to say, who has been one of the forefront leaders of calling for accountability here.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C.
Listen, if there ever was a plausible explanation, that would be it. As it's also important to note here that the White House responded to Thomas Massie, calling, by the way, Thomas Massie is bringing forward legislation saying, hey, release all the Epstein files, except for, of course, the rational things that you're going to redact, like the victims and any type of personal information of innocent people. That's understandable, right? The White House now is saying, if you help Thomas Massie secure a vote to release the Epstein files, this will be seen as a hostile act, as they're essentially threatening anyone who's hoping to, quote, as Thomas Massie says, bring transparency and justice to the survivors. This is a tact admission. The Oversight Committee data release is woefully incomplete, as Anna Paulina Luna just announced on social media, saying all the Epstein documents have been uploaded here. And she posted a Google Drive here, as a lot of people responded with all question marks. As there are a lot of redactions. A lot of people are saying, hey, where's my binder? People are saying, why are there so many particular redactions here? And people are going through these documents right now, as some people are saying, it's kind of weird how they dump highly redacted Epstein docs right on the eve of Massie's type of press conference with the victims here, as there's still a lot of pushback behind the scenes here that Only Thomas Massie is reporting on. But now even other White House officials are coming out and saying, hey, Thomas Massie better not get his legislation passed here, as he specifically had this to respond to it.
Updates on the discharge petition. Do you think you'll get the number of signatures you need?
I think we'll eventually get there. What people are waking up and discovering right now is the folks who stayed up all night to go through the 34,000 individual pages have found that they're so redacted as to be useless, and that many of them were already available.
Yeah, essentially we got the binder here. Oh yeah, which I said we would. I was like, yeah, they're gonna release the binder. The binder, by the way, was predominantly filled with old information that was already public, but more redacted than what was already publicly available. The binders that the social media influencers got. And Thomas Massie now kind of confirming that is highlighting, yeah, this is not really going to work for the general public here at all. Now, we also have some wild video from Anna Paulina Luna and some of the victims here and survivors here that had some very interesting things to say about creating their own list. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Before we do, sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. We'll make this quick. It's just super quick, super easy to do. And we're doing a range day. 5 out of the 10 seats are already taken on our range day, September 20th. Sign up while the seats are still available for your self-defense course. That's going to be absolutely next level type of stuff here. I'm going to be releasing videos soon of the last course we did. It was super fun. And right now, 3 master classes, 13 plus years of video centered around helping you, 20 cents a day. Signing up, it's quick, it's easy, it's simple. Members only t-shirt stores, seed oil cards, you name it. We got it. We go all out and we talk to you one-on-one like I am right now in the Telegram chat. You get access to me and my team one-on-one just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. Sign up right now. And I will see you in the Telegram chat where we're currently talking about blue blockers for some reason. But we are. We could talk about anything. I will be talking to you just by signing up as a member of LukeUnfiltered.com. Thank you so much for signing up and keeping this independent media outlet that stormed the island and most also importantly has been talking about this story for 15 plus years. If you appreciate that and our dedication towards this important work, sign up. It means the world to us. I can't thank you enough for doing so. Now, this behind-the-scenes White House type of action here really is kind of head-scratching in light of all of this, as even Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna was talking about how Epstein is potentially, probably still is a foreign intelligence asset. Now, we have seen some people who are Israeli talking about, oh, he's Russian and Chinese. He was a Russian or Chinese agent. There's another organization that I think they're trying to obfuscate from, another foreign intelligence service that I think they're trying to just have everyone think about that is on everyone's minds here for some reason.
Right now, the biggest thing that stands out to me is the victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too following up on that. There are some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. I think everyone's been frustrated as to why that hasn't happened before. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, because there's a two-tier justice system, as they're able to destroy news stories. They're able to sway prosecutors, judges, police officers, federal law enforcement, and also presidents. Let's just be honest with this. The president of the United States has been swayed here. Now, the press conference today did a great job not making it political. The media that was trying to make it political failed at doing so, and they did a really good job carefully threading the needle of not being disrespectful or accusatory, but calling for the people in power right now, specifically Donald Trump. Like, hey, Trump, just please release the files. We're not saying you're guilty. We're not saying you did anything horrible. On the contrary, Virginia Roberts actually came out and said that Donald Trump was innocent here. There was a lawyer. I'll play the clip from the lawyer here in a little bit. But this is what Paulina had to say, just to finish off her statement here before we play you some of the victims' comments.
But it is very much so a possibility that Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset working for our adversaries. But also, too, I think the questions that we have is how much did our own government know about it? And so there's more to follow, and I'm sure you'll be hearing from the chairman momentarily. But I do applaud the victims from coming forward because
it's possible Epstein was a foreign. I think it's pretty plausible, and that's why there's such an obfuscation of justice here. Now, Paulina came out, and she says this is reference to some of the testimony here, describing how there are 33,000, not an accident, I don't think, 33,000 documents. Names will be in those files per the victims. We need to, quote, follow the money trail. There was a well-orchestrated operation with many tentacles to include shell corporations, absolutely billions of dollars. Chairman of the House Oversight is sending a SARS request to the U.S. Treasury. We'll see if they release anything, as Howard Lutnick there, Epstein's former neighbor, probably has a couple things to say about this. There's, quote, a lot of things uncovered from Deutsche Bank and how money was funneled and moved. Yeah, billions of dollars. And they didn't follow any kind of regulatory rules in most instances. Epstein's network was described as a, quote, international trafficking organization to all members of Congress who were present and also involved. Trafficking women from Slavic nations as well, immigration fraud. Many of these women have stayed silent due to fear of retribution. That is true. And Epstein did hire and send messages to journalists telling them to shut up. And many of those messages did work. We were threatened. We don't know if we were threatened by Epstein, but I was threatened throughout my career. Maybe that had something to do with me talking about these types of particular stories. Who knows? Foreign governments, as in more than one, were named to be working with Epstein. Okay. All right. Which foreign governments? Probably the UK and Israel. Let's just be honest with ourselves. That's the most clear ties that we're seeing here, especially with a lot of prominent political leaders, like the Prime Minister of Israel, associated with Epstein. Victims' information rightfully was redacted to release, but the committee as a whole is working to ensure that they will be given access to their information that was previously denied to them by the others' administration. Thank you to the Trump administration for handling all this over. They really didn't handle much over. There was we were told 11 terabytes, truckloads of documents, hundreds of thousands of them. Here's 33 of them. Of previously released stuff. What? Hold on a minute. Wait, hold. What? That doesn't make sense here. One victim talked about how her newborn daughter was threatened. Coming forward, yeah, that happens. Epstein was still victimizing underage girls while on work release, yep, and wearing an ankle monitor, yep, I reported on that. Only to spend the evening in prison, reportedly. The attorney of some of these implicated individuals have apparently already tried to contact some of the victims' attorneys. Congressman Comer is running point on this, and I will be fully backing his efforts. Now, these victims are publicly speaking, and they are saying that they are outraged, rightfully so. Now, Nancy Mace, who was a part of the oversight briefing about these victims speaking out, says that she had a very difficult time listening to their stories, as she had a, quote, full-blown panic attack. She was sweating, hyperventilating, shaking, and couldn't breathe. And she felt the immense pain of how hard all the victims are fighting for themselves, because we already know no one is fighting for us. God bless all the survivors. And again, Savannah Hernandez had some mean things to say to Nancy in response to this, but a lot of the victims are upset. And I think they did their best hiding their kind of disillusionment with this administration, as they didn't try to make this political. But a lot of people that were speaking out today were saying, how in the world is Ghislaine Maxwell being upgraded to a cushy Fed prison after giving testimony to the DOJ that corroborated the story of the DOJ and Donald Trump here? Now, with these people breaking their silence, there's a lot of other little tidbits and pieces of information that we're getting out there, as we have central witness victim, minor victim one in Epstein's 2019 indictment, Marina Liccarda, actually come out and speak out and share her story. She shared it with ABC News. She was just speaking publicly at part of the press conferences. We had another Epstein victim come out and say, you know what? If we won't get the list, if this administration is not going to give us anything, we're going to make the list ourselves, which I think is a pretty bold statement because, listen, if you're going to be doing this stuff, from my experience, you don't say you're going to do it. Okay? Virginia Roberts' lawyer and father believe that there's already foul play potentially involved in the demise of Virginia Roberts. Now, Virginia Roberts also wasn't doing that well mentally. That's also reported here. What actually happened here, who in the world knows? But my 2 cents from all this is you don't say, okay, now we're going to get all the victims, now we're going to put all the names together. You just do it. That my 2 cents on this matter.
Transparency is justice. Release the files, end the secrecy, and stand with us in declaring that no one, no billionaires, no politicians, not world leaders, is above the law. And let me announce now, several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that. Because history is watching, and so are the women who will come after us. Thank you.
Yeah. This is major. This is big here. I think the lawyer here also made some very big statements. But before getting into that, listen, we're going to have Acosta, who gave Epstein a sweetheart deal of a lifetime, testifying. We're going to have Pam Bondi testifying. We're going to have Kash Patel testifying. And it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens with this discharge petition to force a vote, as it's going to be clear who's going to take the messaging from this administration and is going to be silent and quiet about it. As Thomas Massie is already saying that he's got 3 billionaires right now that are running ads against him in Kentucky, and one of them is, quote, in Epstein's black book. All 3 of them have, quote, ties to Israel. Interesting. Interesting how that happens. Shouts out to all the real ones like Thomas Massie, MTG, Rohan, and all these other individuals that are willing to speak out against this nonsense. Of course, the rabbit hole goes deep, and there are a lot more sinister, crazy individuals and factors to this story that still have not yet been made public. I think we only know like 3, 4, 5% of this whole kind of ordeal here. It gets more crazier, especially when it comes to the accusations of arms dealing, money laundering, tax evasion, intelligence agency type of work here that also involve drug trafficking, human trafficking, and kind of privatizing the intelligentsia's dirty work here with contractors that Epstein probably was to many foreign governments as he was offering his type of financial, tax evasion, human and drug trafficking type of services on airplanes like 727s that are routinely used by the CIA historically with their capabilities that they utilized very efficiently. Now, I found this part the most important part of the lawyer here saying, hey, Trump helped me out before. Why is he calling it a hoax now? I wish Trump would act like he did in 2009 when he helped out the victims.
Thank you all for being here.
I'll go first and then I'll let them. They're much more important than me, but I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that, he didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he...
And then it was reported that he was one of the few powerful people, I think the only real big powerful person, because because this guy reached out to Clinton, this guy reached out to all the celebrities, this guy reached out to everyone involved here that they knew was involved, and they're like, hey, can you help us? Can you give us more information? All the associates of Epstein. Trump was the only one who's like, okay, I got you. Here's the information I could give you to help you. Trump's the only one who did that. All right?
He was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up for debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy? The world should know who he is, who protected him, and the other...
Yep, absolutely. If you agree with that message, I think that was a carefully crafted message. The real reason is the intel agencies came in and they said, you're not doing this. Screw you. Or we're going to do XYZ to you, or your family, or your children. I think that's the only logical, reasonable explanation. Like, hey, intel agency says no. You want to expose us? You want to tell the world how we did Iran-Contra, but with Epstein and with children? With Saudi Arabia and Israel? You want to tell the world how we did that, Trump? You're not going to do that. And for some reason, this is, I think, there are levels of extortion and manipulation that are at play here that we don't fully understand yet. Because, again, Trump's the guy who got shot at. Okay? Trump clearly is supposed to be a bull in a china shop. Trump clearly is non-caring anymore. Right? So, I don't know. Crazy story. What do you think really happened here? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that. This is why. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/We Are Changed. Beautiful and amazing human beings.